Corazon. I am an anthrax, butcher bacterium, warm life destroying. Morpheus. I am a world, space floating, life nurturing. Corazon. I am a nova, all exploding, planet cremating. Morpheus. I am the universe, all things encompassing, all life embracing. Corazon. I am anti life, the beast of judgment. I am the dark at the end of everything, the end of universes, gods, worlds, of everything. And what will you be then, Dream Lord? Morpheus. I am hope. Neogemon. The suicide rate in the United States jumped 33% in the years between 1999 and 2017. For women between 45 and 64, the rate jumped 80%. For girls between 5 and 15 years of age, rates of suicide tripled during that time span. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death for all ages. The life expectancy of Americans has actually gone down, due in part to the suicide rate. In addition to the general suicide rate, people are killing themselves more and more with drugs. The increase in the total amount of deaths from 2002 through 2017 has gone up dramatically. Cocaine overdoses are up 3.5 the amount of deaths. Opioids 4.1, heroin 7.6 times. Fentanyl is up 22 times the number of deaths. Combinations of cocaine and synthetic opioids deaths are up 23 times in this time period. And even for people who aren't killing themselves deliberately or accidentally, there is a general malaise. Depression and anxiety are sky high in this country and around the world. Something is gravely wrong. Many, many people have lost hope in just about everything. This production of The Power of Hope obviously isn't going to make everything better. It is not a substitute for therapy. If you have been considering suicide as an option for dealing with your life, get help. Don't trust your thinking, get help. The Power of Hope is an attempt to help all of us dealing with life through the medium of the arts. It focuses on two issues: the importance of understanding the difference between helplessness and hopelessness, and the importance of finding the why of your life. Helplessness, for the purpose of this production, refers to our inability to change certain situations in our lives. Hopelessness refers to how we react to that reality. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor, discusses in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, one area where we are not helpless, and that keeps us from being hopeless. This area is within us and not from the outside. He said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This is not just mindless, happy talk from a slogan writer. This man went through hell. He did lose almost everything that was important to him. He speaks from experience. In fact, Frankl's premise of his book is that if people can find meaning in their life, the why of life, they will find a way to live that life, the how of life. If they cannot find a why, they are in deep trouble. There are many, many people who cannot find their why. That is why it's important to understand that hope is more than wishing for a happy outcome. Hope has a deeper meaning that relates back to the spirit of the person. That deeper meaning is the belief that people can not only endure whatever they are facing, they can grow from it, and they can find peace within themselves no matter what the outcome. The starkness of losing hope is not that people might lose the big game, but that they might lose themselves, their spirit, their soul, their dreams, the core of who they are. The power of hope. The following piece, The Power of Hope, is a response to the call for change. It is a statement that we are capable of better. We are capable of helping each other rise above the problems and setbacks that face all of us. We are capable of great love and compassion and resiliency. Richard Eyre said, "Change begins with understanding, and understanding begins by identifying oneself with another person. In a word, empathy. The arts enable us to put ourselves in the minds, eyes, ears, and hearts of other human beings." The Power of Hope reaffirms Václav Havel's statement that hope is a state of mind, not of the world. It is the ability to work for something because it is good. The power of hope is an affirmation that we can and we will answer that call. Finally, the power of hope is about celebrating those who have made this journey from hopelessness to hope and who have inspired us to believe that this journey is possible, especially if we are there for each other. It was inspired by all people who have striven to overcome hopelessness in their lives, whether they be in Darfur or Missouri. A song of hope. Find the least among us. Listen to their voice. Stories filled with sadness, a life of little choice. Hear the drums beating whenever they try. Feel the rising mantra amid their desperate cry. Hope for the ages as the lyrics dawn. Listen to the music as their song is born. Find the strength and courage to let them sing for you, for they will tell the story of all we need to do. Pulse of pain, pulse of hope. When you are living in a world where you are experiencing constant, overwhelming hopelessness, there's a pulse of pain as constant as the pulse coursing through your body. You can feel totally lost in this deep forest. You don't know where to turn. It is easy to feed the hopelessness with your own thoughts. It is tempting to self-medicate with alcohol or drugs or food. You might even be tempted to just end your life. Say no to both of those options. Get help. Just because you are lost now and don't see a way out doesn't mean there isn't a way out. The pulse of life going through your body is also a pulse of hope. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't let your pride prevent you from asking for help. If you did ask and were ignored, find someone else. Don't quit. Remember, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Stephen King. Do not lose hope. What you seek will be found. Trust dreams. Trust your heart. And trust your story. Neil Gaiman. Before the day, there is a small moment of time after just awakening when the day is still and new and fresh, and where there is a feeling of peace and hope and beauty. It might be for only a second. It might seem like an apparition on a dark night or the hint of a breeze on a sultry day, but it is there. Hope is still there. The challenge is to grasp it before it disappears and to bring it into your heart. Stay aware, stay open to possibilities, stay open to that elusive breeze on a sultry day. One breeze can lead to another. Eventually you create your own breezes. It might take a while, but it can happen. The arts can help. Listen to or look at or experience in some way something that inspires you, that encourages you, that challenges you. That little kernel of hope can explode into full-fledged hope. And of course, talk to someone. Get help if everything feels hopeless. You are not alone. I believe that imagination is stronger than knowledge, that myth is more potent than history, that dreams are more powerful than facts, that hope always triumphs over experience, that laughter is the only cure for grief, and I believe that love is stronger than death. Robert Fulghum. To be truly radical is to make hope possible rather than despair convincing. Raymond Williams.
Triptych of Icarus by Yara Gzraib. We shall find peace. We shall hear angels. We shall see the sky sparkling with diamonds. Anton Chekhov. Part 1. Icarus on his feet. The man's back is classroom straight and alert for not having shouldered any weight. His hair is warm gold for having drunk sea salt and having grazed the noon sun. Mountaintop, mountain air. Mountain lungs inhale wide. The man exhales loud. Let the valley hear his breath before it resonates with his sound. The man's feet lift off, no sandbags to hold them. His strides are large, his view long. Man on his feet is young. He has only met sun, air, and sea so far. He knows of the laws of nature, but has not encountered them yet. He has not felt gravity, heat, cold, hunger that hurts. Sensation is still thrill. His cheeks flush deliciously pink as his big eyes take in a bigger horizon. Its lines blur deceptively at its extremes. Wishes look like promises from here. Man on his feet dreams of kicking them off into flight and mistakes that for hope. Wine, girls, and the music in his head turn his strides to a run, to a leap. Triptych of Icarus, on his feet, on his toes, on a gust of wind blowing north. The air applauds loudly in his ears, through his nostrils, and dries the sweat on his brow. Icarus is a boy whose bravery is bravado and whose eyes only look forward, up. Something missing. You might believe that something is missing in you, that you are not capable of dealing with the life you are facing. You are wrong. What you think is missing is actually there inside of you. Keep looking. Get help in the search. Hiding beneath the veil of hopelessness is hope. You are capable of finding it. It is worth the effort. You are worth the effort. Just remember that you have survived so far. That is not insignificant. You have survived so far. You matter. You have something to offer. Even if you feel overwhelmed with sadness or pain or guilt, you can find your way out of the maze of hopelessness. Believe in yourself. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Langston Hughes. Great hope has no real footing unless one is willing to face into the doom that may also be on the way. Norman Mailer.
There's something missing inside of me, an empty space inside of me. I had it once inside of me, but now no trace inside of me. I think it's deep inside of me. I think it's hiding there, but I just can't find it, and now I don't care. I know there's more inside of me. There's something rich hiding inside of me. I've got to but I get lost looking inside of me. I'm just tired of wasting my life away. I've got to make a new start, so I've got to look real deep in my heart. I'm just tired of wasting my life away. I've got to make a new start, so I've got to look real deep in my heart, real deep in my heart, real deep in my heart.
Move it. You have to move. Hope involves movement. It is not just about wishing for a happy outcome. It is not just wishing life would change. You have to move toward hope, toward life. The movement might be physical, emotional, or spiritual, or all of them. Movement says life. Maybe it's going to a counselor, or to a concert, or going for a walk. Movement says hope is possible. Movement says I can find my way to hope. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. You will fill yourself with hope. Barack Obama. Hope is the heartbeat of the soul. Michelle Horst. calm your mind. Hopelessness is a state of mind. It is not a fact. It is an opinion. Many people in the last stages of a terminal illness or in concentration prison camps created hope in their lives. They knew that the physical outcome of their situation probably would not be good, but they also knew that they would not allow their minds to be defeated. They knew that helplessness about a situation did not mean things were hopeless for them in a spiritual, psychological, and emotional sense. They were in charge of hopeless. They said no to that. But hope is no less realistic than despair. It is still our choice whether to live in light or lie down in darkness. Rick Yancey. Hopelessness is a belief. A belief is a thought, and thoughts can be changed. They are all the time. Scott Shepherd. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. There were many dark moments when my faith in humanity was sorely tested, but I would not and could not give myself up to despair. That way lays defeat and death. Nelson Mandela. A caring soul. A caring soul can make all the difference. Be one. If you think that no one cares for you, you care for you. then go care for someone else. People whose why of life involves caring for other people find great joy in their lives. They find strength that they never knew they had. They find resiliency and purpose and courage. They find these things in the people they care for. They find hope where all they saw was barrenness. When you care, you are cared for. When you help others find hope, you find it for yourself. It is by choice and not by chances that we change our circumstances. Nadia Sahari. I have come to accept the feeling of not knowing where I am going, and I've trained myself to love it, because it is only when we are suspended in midair with no landing in sight that we force our wings to unravel and begin our flight. And as we fly, we still may not know where we are going to, but the miracle is in the unfolding of the wings. You may not know where you're going, but you know that so long as you spread your wings, the winds will carry you. C. Joy Bell, C. Kids. Even at the worst of times, kids can remind you of your spirit. They bring hope alive by their very essence. Kids are like a fine jazz piece. They bring spontaneity, curiosity, and joy. They bring life. They bring hope. Though kids can start the rejuvenation process, you have to be willing to join in. Kids won't fix your problems, but they can help rekindle your heart and your spirit. Hope has a chance. I look in the mirror through the eyes of the child that was me. Judy Collins. The soul is healed by being with children. Fyodor Dostoevsky. At midnight. Sometimes midnight is used as a metaphor for the end, but midnight can also be the beginning, a new chance. Having your back against the wall and feeling that time is running out does not have to be overwhelming. It can be a time that sharpens your senses and focuses your energy. It can be a time of opportunity, even in the midst of a mess. It is never too late to start over.
Hope does not leave without being given permission. Rick Riordan.
The lunchtime wine fest is like a festering point for hopelessness. The thought of hopelessness can be like a virus. What started out as one person feeling hopeless is now many all agreeing with each other and strengthening their beliefs in their own hopelessness. Scott Shepard. Sprinkle. Sometimes change begins slowly, like a sprinkle before a shower. It teases you, it tantalizes you. Is it the beginning of real change, or is it just a fantasy? Not every sprinkle leads to a shower, but many do. Perhaps this one is real. The rain has to start somewhere. Get ready. Welcome a new start.
And indeed it could be said that once the faintest stirring of hope became possible, the dominion of plague was ended. Albert Camus. I believe in hope, in what is something called radical hope. I believe there's hope for all of us, even amid the suffering. And that's why I write fiction, probably, It's my attempt to keep that fragile strand of radical hope, to build a fire in the darkness. John Green.
Rain, thunder, the storm is coming. But you might be confused. Is this a storm bringing you nourishment, or is it a storm bringing you more grief? The energy is fierce. You can feel that something is fighting for your spirit. You must engage the energy of the storm. You can make it your nourishment. You can come out of this storm ready to continue on. You begin to feel the hope. Let your spirit come alive. Even in the mud and scum of things, something always, always sings. Ralph Waldo Emerson. For like a shaft, clear and cold, the thought pierced him that in the end the shadow was only a small and passing thing. There was light and high beauty forever beyond its reach. J.R.R. Tolkien. It is not light that we need, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, and the earthquake. Frederick Douglass. Blues won't keep me down. The blues usually refers to being down. Not a pleasant situation, but not necessarily life-threatening. Full-blown clinical depression is much more serious. Think of it as the blues on steroids. The point of the song is not what you have. It is that whatever it is doesn't have to win. It doesn't mean you do this on your own. If you're having trouble getting out of bed, not eating, or eating way too much, thinking thoughts of suicide, get help. Even if it's not that bad, take action. See a counselor. Get involved in the arts. Get involved in life in general. Let people love you. I've learned that no matter how inspired, fired up, and motivated you might be, the dark clouds will always set in. Bernard Kelvin Cleve. Sometimes the dark clouds don't bring rain. They just bring dark, and you must find your way. Scott Shepherd. Awareness. Awareness is the byword. Just as animals at a waterhole look up every few seconds to scan their environment, so must you be aware. The awareness might be for threats both external and internal to your physical and psychological spiritual existence. The awareness must also be for allies and sources of strength and beauty that are in you and in your environment. Pay attention. Be open.
Hope attracts chances. Toby Beta. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore. William Faulkner.
You do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it is all going. What you need is to recognize the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope. Thomas Merton. Love, finding the balance. The beauty of the love that people share with you, whether it be romantic or family or friendship, is that their love can also renew your spirit and help you recover your hope. The danger is that you might look for these people to be your escape or your answer to your problems. The balance between using that love in a productive way or becoming totally dependent on it is precarious. You are still responsible for your life.
And I sometimes think that a moment of touching is the difference between complete utter despair and the ability to carry on. Eleanor Cameron. Life is a hard battle anyway. If we laugh and sing a little as we fight the good fight of freedom, it makes it all go easier. I will not allow my life's light to be determined by the darkness around me. Sojourner Truth.
I feel the heat you bring, and I know that I'm in trouble. I feel fire just being close beside your skin. I know I've got to enter in the pull of your
me to my soul. I know you're gonna change me to a charred smoky ember, but I don't really care at all. As long as I go with the heat from your glow, I will laugh at fools who have missed all the heat from your kiss. Burn me up till I'm gone. How you lure me, how you cure me. I don't know if you're good or bad, but I don't care now. I've got to find how to kiss that fire that burns me to my soul. I know you're gonna change me to a charred smoky ember, but I don't really care at all. As long as I go with the heat from your glow, I will laugh at fools who have missed all the heat from your kiss. Burn me up till I'm gone.
Part 2. Icarus on his face. The earth smells strongly of moisture and brown. Brown is a smell and a taste. It fills the man's mouth, nose, and every slight crease streaming out his eyes, down his face. Brown lines his eyelashes and infiltrates the frontier between brow and hair, overtaking gold and pink and even the space under his fingernails. Brown is a feeling that creeps into man's closed fists and his firmest convictions. It soaks through his shirt and settles into his bones. Icarus is aware of his ribs, aware some are broken, aware that they hurt, aware that deeper something burns. Man on his face feels more surprise than pain, really. At first, at least. At first. Man on his face has never been further from sky, closer to earth. Contact shocks his senses into the purely present and physical. There is no transcendence in this dark opacity, no light on this side of his face. His lungs have been sucked empty from all air, and his back is cold and bare. Triptych of Icarus on his face, on the ground. No movement or sound in this scene. Disillusion like heavy snow falls thick and silent. Man on his face does not protest. He cannot see sky, not that he is looking, but disillusion is not despair. Man does not know that yet, however. Icarus lies still on his face. Until, through the brown, something infinitely small reaches up, irritates his nose. Nothing has changed. Still at one with reality, man on his face touches hope. Who knows? Sometimes you just want to find someone who can give you answers to all you are dealing with. Just remember, there are a lot of people who will tell you that they have the answer. Be careful of those people. The ones who say they will help you find your own answers are the ones to focus in on. They are the ones trying to help you, not save you. Ultimately, the answers you are looking for are inside of you. It might be hard to see them now, and you might need help to uncover them, but they are there. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Emily Dickinson. Hope is a waking dream. Aristotle. We dream to give ourselves hope. To stop dreaming, well, that's like saying you can never change your fate. Amy Tan. the light. Sometimes you might feel like you are lost in the dark. There doesn't seem to be any way out of this mess. There is light, though. As hard as it might be to believe, that light is you. Others have realized that and found their way out. Find their stories. Their way might not be exactly your way, but it demonstrates that there is a way.
Without a struggle, there can be no progress. Frederick Douglass.
Rise above. Many people in the depths of their despair have found something to help them rise above it. They sense a rhythm and a strength calling to them. Some people call this strength God or the universal power, or perhaps their own spirit. When you find it, you will feel it. A new rhythm will have embraced you. You will begin the process of rising from the ashes of hopelessness.
Where there is no hope, it is incumbent on us to invent it. Albert Camus.
To love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weights you like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief. You think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes, and you say, yes, I will take you. I will love you again. Ellen Bass. A short tale on learning about hope. Two young women are speaking to each other, Marilyn and Sarah. Marilyn says, "Well, how are you? You sounded a little distraught on the phone." Sarah, who was obviously uncomfortable, says, "I don't know how to say this, especially to you." "What?" "I'm pregnant." "That's great. Congratulations. Why is that hard to tell me?" "I'm going to have a Down syndrome child." "Okay." "And I'm scared. I'm really scared. I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm scared for the baby. I'm scared for me." And Marilyn says, "And I have a child with Down syndrome." "Yeah, and maybe I can say something magical that'll make everything okay." Sarah says, "Well, I don't know what to do, what to think. All the hopes and dreams I had for my child seem pointless. I feel ashamed to say that, but that's what I feel." Marilyn says, "Can I tell you something? When I found out that we were going to have a Down syndrome child, I went through the same thing." "You did? You look like you have everything so together." "Oh, yeah, trust me," says Marilyn. I was a mess for a while." Sarah says, "Well, what did you do?" "The biggest thing I figured out was that parents' hopes and dreams for their kids don't mean squat." "What?" "Yeah, my kid gets to come up with his own hopes and dreams. My job is to help him do that, to be there for him, to love him and encourage him, and maybe to kick his butt when necessary." "Well, didn't you get scared?" "Look," said Marilyn, "I know it's scary, but not just because of Down syndrome. Every kid has got stuff to deal with. It's scary, period. We both know that crud happens. You have to believe, as scared as you are, that you've got this. You're not perfect. You'll screw up. Every parent in the world screws up." How do you keep your spirits up, though?" asked Sarah. "How do you keep some sense of hope that it will work out? It just seems overwhelming." "You know what keeps my hopes up? What picks me up when I'm not doing so well?" "What?" "It really isn't a what. It's a who. Every time my child comes over to me, my hope picks up. He brings it with him." Starting over. It's one thing knowing something, and it's another thing doing something. Even after you realize that the light is you and that you have more power than you ever realized, you still have to begin the process of starting over. You can look at this starting over as a burden or as an incredible opportunity, another choice on your journey. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Others before you have forged a way. There are others who have stood with you and are standing by you now. It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals, because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart and frank. It's probably my job to tell you life isn't fair, but I figure you already know that. So instead, I'll tell you that hope is precious, and you're right not to give up. C.J. Redwine. In a time of destruction, create something. Maxine Hong Kingston. Persistence is critical. Perhaps the most important aspect of keeping hope alive is persistence. Don't quit. Don't try to do it all alone, but don't quit. Don't just take it from me. Talk to people or read about people who did not quit. They found help. They found the courage to change the way they were dealing with life. Understand that power is about choices. I worked with a man whose daughter was murdered 12 years earlier. He said that for 10 years he got up every morning and hated. He finally realized that his daughter did not live all those years for him to hate someone else. At that point, he let go of the hate and decided to live his life celebrating his daughter's life. If he could have had any choice he wanted, it would have been for his daughter to be alive. He didn't have that choice, but he still had a choice. Just because we don't have the choices we want doesn't mean we don't have any choices at all. And as I watched him, I knew that in every dark night, there was somewhere a small light burning that could never be quenched. Juliet Marlier. Don't despair. Despair suggests you are in total control and know what is coming. You don't. Surrender to events with hope. Alain de Botton. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. William Shakespeare.
Persistence, I just never give in. When others quit, I know I'll just begin again. And when I don't think that I can, persistence comes and tells me do it again. Oh, persistence, it keeps me on track. When some tear down, I know that I will build it back. And when I think that I can't do more, persistence comes and picks me off of the floor. Persistence is a friend of mine. When others left, it stayed behind. When no one else believed in me, persistence told me stick it out and you'll see. Oh, persistence, it conquered my fears. I would have missed my life. I'm glad that it was here to help me get through the day. Persistence, I know that you always will stay. Persistence is a friend of mine. When others left, it stayed behind. When no one else believed in me, persistence told me stick it out and you'll see. Oh, persistence, when all's said and done, when you look back, you'll see persistence was the one that got you through the times that were rough. Persistence gave you strength and helped you be tough.
Home. Ram Dass says we're all just walking each other home. And what is home? There is no one nice answer. I believe it is where you feel loved, supported, challenged, and worth the effort. You might not always like it, but you love it. Home isn't perfect. Nothing is perfect. But you know when you're there, home has what you need to grow and thrive. Everybody has a home team. It's the people you call when you get a flat tire or when something terrible happens. It's the people who, near or far, know everything that's wrong with you and love you anyways. These are the ones who tell you their secrets, who get themselves a glass of water without asking when they're at your house. These are the people who cry when you cry. These are your people, your middle of the night, no matter what people. Shauna Niequist. Of course, the sad truth is that not everybody does have a home team. But you can be somebody's home team. You can be that person. You can't be that for everyone, but you can be that for someone. Scott Shepard.
I
Part 3. Icarus on his back. Man turns to his back, gasping for air, rubbing the earth from his face. Pink peeks through the brown, molds into the brown. His hair is syrupy, warm yellow. No longer frightened of this earth he now knows, man stretches his weight into it, his back across it, every cell of his skin fiercely awake. Sensation. No revolt or resignation, just extreme awareness. Touch, smell, sound, taste. Yes, skin can taste. So can soul. Man on his back looks up. There is no boy in this triptych or myth. Just sky, infinite sky. Its infinite stars shower an infinity of life over man. Past, present, future. All present washes over him, his impermanence, soaking him with love and despair. This is what beauty must be. Seedlings growing timidly from the cold ground. He feels them in his back beneath him, in spite of him. Icarus on his back flies. Soaring. When you begin to feel the wind beneath you and the strength to set off, you will find yourself soaring. You might realize that certain people and situations have been keeping you on the ground, and you have to move on from them. It can be painful, but necessary. Find that wind, feel that strength, soar. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Nelson Mandela. Don't worry if people think you're crazy. You are crazy. You have that kind of intoxicating insanity that lets other people dream outside of the lines and become who they're destined to be. Jennifer Elizabeth.
Soaring above the clouds across the sky, soaring, my spirit flies. I've torn down all my fences, freed up my senses, opened my eyes to the beauty everywhere. Sometimes you have to choose another way. Sometimes you have to finally say, I've got to take my chances. I've got to find the strength in me to set my spirit free. Soar, know that there is more than just a life full of ills and a life full of bills. Soar, find the spark inside. Let the burdens fall from your wings and let your heart start to sing. Your heart start to sing. I once let others tell me how to live. I once let my poor soul slip away. No more this life of horror. I found the wind, I found the sky. Now I not only fly, I soar. I found the wind, I found the sky, I found there's more. I
Celebrate another day, another chance. Believe that you will celebrate your life again no matter what you are feeling now. There will always be good and bad times. You will learn to celebrate yourself, warts and all. Celebrate your strengths and your ability to deal with your weaknesses. You're not perfect, nobody is, but you are you. You are unique. You have something to offer no one else does. Celebrate that. Never give up. It's like breathing. Once you quit, your flame dies, letting total darkness extinguish every last gasp of hope. You can't do that. You must continue taking in even the shallowest of breaths. Continue putting forth even the smallest of efforts to sustain your dreams. Don't ever, ever, ever give up. Rochelle E. Goodrich.
Another day, another chance, another day, another dance I've got to learn, another day to start anew, another day to see it through. The spark is back, the fire is coming, the engine's on. I can feel it humming. It's time to find the sun again. It's time to find the fun again. Let's celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate. Well, it's time to celebrate. Another day, the clouds are gone. Another day, to learn the song I have to sing. Another day to feel the sun's fine heat. Another day to feel my life's fine beat. The spark is back, the fire is coming, the engine's on. I can feel it humming. It's time to find the sun again. It's time to find the fun again. Another day is here. Nothing more to fear. Another day is here. I